Hi there! Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Julie DiMatteo from thepaperpixie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US, and in this video tutorial I have this adorable little treat holder featuring the Art in Bloom bundle, which you can find on page 116 of the annual catalog. I love this bundle because it comes with a hybrid embossing folder, which is an embossing folder plus the dies. And I'll show you a really cool trick with the bundle and how that works. But I love this little treat holder. And inside of it, I have a single Merci chocolate. Let's get my ribbon untied here. In sort of a half shadow box I'm referring to, so it makes it a little bit easier than a full shadow box, but a really cute little hidden treat there in this treat holder. This uses the fancy tag topper punch, and the sentiment set comes from the Biggest Wish stamp set. This is one of my favorite stamp sets in the new catalog. So let me show you how easy this is to make. All right, for the inside half shadow box here, we're gonna start with a piece of polished pink that measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. And along the 3 7/8 inch side, we're gonna score this at 3/8 from each end. So 3/8, rotate at 180 and 3/8 again. And then along the 5 1/4 inch side, we're gonna score this at 1/2 inch, 7/8, 1 3/8, and 1 3/4. I'm going to repeat the same measurements on the opposite side, so rotate it 180 degrees, and we'll do 1/2 inch, 7/8, 1 3/8, and 1 3/4. Now next I'm going to fold and burnish on all the score lines. I'm bringing in the template here. I'm going to turn it this way, and I am going to cut up each of the vertical score lines, stopping at the 4th horizontal score line. And I like to cut just inside the score line for this treat holder. So go up to the 4th horizontal score line. I'll do the same thing over here. Now we only want to remove 3 sections so that we're basically leaving behind a tab. So just remove 3 sections from there and we leave this tab behind. We'll do the same thing over here. Then I'm going to turn it 180 and we'll repeat the same thing. And then with these remaining tabs, we want to come in and notch or miter cut those tabs. So I like to fold the big section out of the way. It makes it easier to get at the tabs. And then just notch those out. All right, so that now looks like our template. Then on the back side of this, so the side where these are kind of curling in, I'm gonna grab some tear and tape and we're gonna run that right along the score line on that last section. So we've got this section here at the top. I've got the tear and tape running right up to the score line. We'll do it to both sides. And now I'm going to grab some liquid glue and we're going to use that to adhere these little tabs next. So I'm going to put liquid glue on the tab and I'm going to line up this cut edge with this score line to start to form one of our box corners. And the liquid glue helps you kind of slide everything into place, gives you a little bit of wiggle room there. And then just work your way around to the remaining 3 tabs. All right, now we've got those tabs glued in. I'm just going to bring in the Take Your Pick tool and pull the backing off the tear and tape. And now what we're going to do is basically roll these in. So I like to take this edge and kind of put it back up against that side wall. And then just roll that into place. Like so. If it's easiest, you can kind of fold on that second score line and then make sure that this edge is up against that back wall. I'm sticking to my tear and tape here. And then we can just roll that into place. And that's sort of the half shadow box there. So I'll grab 1 Merci chocolate, and I've been told that the Godiva chocolates that are in this similar size will fit as well. So that's the inside insert. Let's create the outside. For that, I have a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 2 inches by 8 15/16. So that's just 1/16 less than 9 inches. And then bringing in the Simply Scored along the long side, we're gonna score this at 1 inch and 4 1/4 from each side. So just do 1 inch, 4 1/4, then rotate it 180 and repeat 1 inch and 4 1/4. That 1/16 of an inch measurement allows the center section here to be a little bit wider than the width of this box, and that's just gonna make it fit much easier. Next, I'll come in with the fancy tag topper punch. I love this tag topper punch. You can use any of our tag toppers for this project. It's great to have at least one of them in your stash. And we'll just punch each end like so. Next, I'll come in and fold and burnish on those score lines. And then I have 2 pieces from the beautiful Pansy Petals Designer Series paper, and these measure 1 3/4 by 3. If you had a directional pattern, you want to cut it in portrait. And I'm just going to use liquid glue and adhere those to the 2 panels, pretty much between the score lines here. And you have about 1/8 of an inch of basic white appearing from behind. All right, look how pretty that looks against the basic white paper. Love that. Then I'm just going to take liquid glue and apply that to the back of our little half shadow box here. And we're just going to slide that into place. I want to go all the way down to that score line there. I'm kind of folding this up to get that in the right spot. And then you just want to center this on either side. You'll have about 1/8 of an inch of the basic white peering from behind. The liquid glue lets you kind of slide things into place as well. And then I like to flip this over and just press from the back. So there's that. I love the way that this looks. A nice little surprise on the inside. I'm going to grab the Bumblebee gingham ribbon, which I absolutely love this, paired with the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper. And I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow here, feeding it through both tops of that tag topper. So cute. Let's do some additional decorating of this cute treat holder. All right, I've got a scrap piece of basic white, so I'm gonna grab some Evening Evergreen and grabbing the sentiment Thanks from the Biggest Wish stamp set. Love that scripty font on there. Next, I've got a piece of polished pink cardstock that measures about 3.5 inches by 4 inches. And using polished pink, I'm gonna stamp the trio of flowers from the Art and Bloom stamp set for a little bit of tone-on-tone stamping right on this piece of polished pink. All right, so from the die set from the Art and Bloom bundle, I'm gonna grab this piece, which looks a little bit like a ticket stub, this little trio of flowers, and then this trio of flowers as well. And let's first die cut the sentiment, and then we're gonna do this, I call these flower centers from Bumblebee cardstock. I'm just using a Post-it note to hold that in place, and I like to turn this at a bit of an angle so when it goes through the die cutting machine, we don't get those speed bumps. So there's our sentiment and trio of flower centers. And now for the fun part. This is the hybrid embossing folder. It is designed to work with this set of dies. So let me show you what's going to happen here. We can line up the dies and you'll feel them kind of catch right in place. So they're not sliding around right now. They perfectly fit around these flowers. And what will happen is it will die cut and emboss at the same time. Very, very cool. But when you've got stamped images, you don't want this to shift and you want to make sure that this gets lined up perfectly. So I'm going to grab a pair of mini glue dots and I'm just going to place those sort of right in the center of this trio of flowers. 2 glue dots help so that it doesn't slide around as much. And then that way I can line it up first on my cardstock here. Let's get that evened up and where we want it to cut those flowers. I'll just press those glue dots in place. Then what I can do is bring this back to the embossing folder and make sure that that's lined up. You kind of feel it click into place. Close the embossing folder. And because this is a 3D folder, we're going to do plate number 1, then the embossing folder and spine side facing the machine, and then plate number 4. That's the sandwich. We'll run that through. And now let me show you the magic here. We have these 3 beautifully cut, stamped, and embossed flowers. Look at the dimension on those. Think of how much fun you could have with the stamp set and colors and so many different looks that you can get. And then with the glue dots, they should stick to the cardstock instead of the die. and you just pull that off. But the glue dots have really helped to make sure that this gets lined up exactly where we want it on our stamped image. Then we can line them all up in the hybrid embossing folder. So very, very cool. Now I'm gonna grab the second or the middle-sized flower. You can save these for another project. I'm gonna grab some liquid glue and put just a couple dabs on one of the flower centers here. We'll place that in the center of the flower for a little bit of additional pop of color and dimension. Put some glue dots on the back here. Bring in our treat holder. I'll put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of our sentiment here. We're going to center this, but down towards the bottom. Then we'll pop this flower up, and it fits really nicely around the H and the K to create this adorable little Art in Bloom treat holder, sized perfectly for one Merci chocolate in a really cool half shadow box. I love the way this looks with the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper and that really cool dimension from the Art in Bloom bundle. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss my next video. If you're interested in purchasing any of the Stampin' Up! Products I used today, they'll be linked in the description. And I'll also include a link to my detailed blog post with all project measurements, details, and a picture of the template. I'd love to have you come visit me at thepaperpixie.com, where I post projects every weekday to inspire you. And if you don't want to miss a thing, you can subscribe to receive blog updates via email, and you'll receive an email each time I publish a new post. You can shop with me anytime at thepaperpixie.com/shop. And if you'd like a discount on your Stampin' Up! Purchases, the starter kit is the ultimate bundle, and it's a great way to fulfill your wish list for less. You can purchase the starter kit at thepaperpixie.com/join, and I'd love to welcome you to the Stampin' Up! Family and my team of Paper Pixies. If you don't already have a demonstrator and you'd like complimentary copies of our current catalogs, you can submit a catalog request at thepaperpixie.com/happymail. And if you give this project a try, I'd love to see what you made, so feel free to share it on social media with the hashtag #PaperPixie, and I'll be sure to check it out. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care. Bye.